Have you ever sat in a classroom and wondered who came up with this idea, who invented school? The answer isn't one person, but a mind-blowing story that spans thousands of years across multiple civilizations. Our journey begins over 5,000 years ago in ancient Sumer in modern-day Iraq. This is where we find the world's first known schools called edebas or tablet houses. Around 3000 BCE, Sumerian children, mostly boys from wealthy families, gathered to learn cuneiform, the world's first writing system. Their teachers were called school fathers, and the learning environment was harsh. Students who made mistakes were often physically punished. The goal wasn't general knowledge. It was to train scribes for jobs in accounting, law, and government administration. This was the very first attempt at a formal, structured educational system. Meanwhile, in ancient Egypt, a similar system was taking shape. Schools were often located inside temples, and their primary purpose was to train an elite class of scribes and priests. Egyptian students learned hieroglyphs, a complex writing system, and studied subjects like early mathematics, architecture, and medicine. This was one of the first systems designed specifically to produce skilled government officials who could manage the vast Egyptian empire. Knowledge was power, and in Egypt, it was kept within a very select group. But it was in ancient China where a revolutionary idea was born: education based on philosophy and merit. The great philosopher Confucius established a system focused on moral character and the memorization of classic texts. This led to the creation of the imperial examination system, or Kiju. For over 1,000 years, anyone who wanted a government job had to pass this grueling, multi-day exam. It was the first standardized test in human history, a concept that would later dominate education worldwide. For the first time, your position in society could be determined not just by birth, but by what you knew. Now let's travel west to ancient Greece, the birthplace of academic subjects as we know them. This is where philosophers like Plato and Aristotle changed the game. Plato founded his famous academy, and Aristotle founded the Lyceum. These weren't just schools for scribes. They were institutions dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge itself. For the first time, we see a structured curriculum with distinct subjects: logic, science, philosophy, and even physical education. The Greeks believed education should create well-rounded, virtuous citizens who could think critically, an idea that forms the bedrock of Western education. The Romans then took the Greek model and scaled it up. They were practical builders, and their education system reflected that. They established both public and private schools, focusing on subjects essential for running an empire: law, public speaking or oratory, and military strategy. The Roman educational model was so effective that it became the standard across Europe for centuries, long after the Roman Empire itself had fallen. They were the ones who truly popularized the idea of government-funded education for the masses, at least for Roman citizens. After the fall of Rome, Europe entered the Dark Ages, and much of this classical knowledge was lost. But in another part of the world, a golden age was dawning. During the Islamic Golden Age, from the 8th to the 12th centuries, scholars in the Middle East and North Africa were making incredible advances. They established institutions called madrasas, which were centers for learning in science, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. One of these, the University of Al-Qarawiyyin in Morocco, founded in 859, is considered by many to be the oldest continuously operating university in the world. Their libraries contained millions of texts, preserving and expanding upon the knowledge of the Greeks and Romans. They gave us algebra, advanced chemistry, and the blueprint for the modern university. Back in medieval Europe, education was largely controlled by the church. Monasteries became the guardians of knowledge, meticulously copying and preserving ancient texts. Cathedral schools were established to train clergy and the children of noble families. It was during this period that the first European universities emerged, like the University of Bologna in 1088 and Oxford in 1096. These institutions introduced concepts like degrees and faculties, organizing knowledge into different departments, a structure still used today. But the classroom, as we recognize it with rows of desks, a fixed schedule, and age-based grades, is actually a much more recent invention. It appeared during the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries. As factories needed a disciplined workforce, education became mandatory for the first time in many countries. The school day, often from 8 a.m. to p.m., was designed to prepare children for the structure of factory life. The focus shifted to discipline, uniformity, and obedience. This is the model that standardized the familiar school system we all went through. By the 20th century, this model went global. Public education, funded by governments, became the standard worldwide. A core curriculum of math, science, history, reading, and writing was adopted almost everywhere. Classrooms of 20 to 40 students and standardized exams became the norm, solidifying the school system we know today. So, who really created formal education? The truth is, no single person or civilization did. Our modern system is a complex mosaic, a blend of ideas from across history. We have the Sumerians to thank for the first classrooms, the Chinese for standardized testing, the Greeks for academic subjects and critical thinking, the Islamic Golden Age for the university model and scientific advancement, medieval Europe for degrees and faculties, and the Industrial Revolution for the structure of the school day itself. The history of school is the history of human civilization, constantly evolving to meet the needs of its time. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey through history fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world around us. See you next time.